Once upon a time, in the crowded streets of ancient Rome, there lived a man named Marcus. He was not a king or a warrior, but an ordinary man who worked hard every day to provide for his family. Life was not easy for Marcus. He faced challenges, loss, pain, and uncertainty, just like anyone else. But there was something different about him. No matter what happened, Marcus remained calm. He never broke under pressure. His mind was strong, like an unshakable mountain. People wondered, how could a man like this stay so steady in a world full of chaos? The answer was simple. Stoicism. Stoicism was not just a philosophy for Marcus. It was a way of life. It taught him that he could not control everything that happened to him, but he could always control how he responded. This idea changed everything. When Marcus lost his job, he did not panic. He reminded himself that his worth was not tied to his work. When his friends betrayed him, he did not drown in anger. He accepted that people act according to their own nature, and he chose to focus on his own actions instead. Even when illness struck his family, he did not despair. He did what he could to help, and he accepted what he could not change. You might think Marcus was born this way, naturally strong, unbreakable, but that was not true. There was a time when Marcus was just like everyone else. He worried. He feared. He let emotions control him. But then he discovered Stoicism, and he began to train his mind like an athlete trains his body. Every day he practiced. He reminded himself of what was in his control and what was not. He prepared for hardship before it came. He imagined losing the things he loved, not because he wanted to, but because it taught him to value them without clinging too tightly. One of the most important lessons Marcus learned was the difference between perception and reality. Stoicism taught him that events themselves are not good or bad. It is our judgment that makes them so. For example, when it rained on the day of an important journey, most people would curse the weather. But Marcus saw it differently. The rain was just rain. It was neither good nor bad. If he had to travel in the rain, he could choose to see it as an inconvenience or as a test of his patience. The event was the same, but his mind decided whether it would break him or make him stronger. Another powerful tool Marcus used was the practice of negative visualization. Every morning he took a moment to imagine the worst that could happen. He pictured losing his home, his health, even the people he loved. This did not make him sad. It made him grateful. By facing his fears in his mind, he realized that even the worst outcomes could be endured. And when small troubles came, they seemed unimportant compared to what he had already faced in his thoughts. Marcus also learned the value of discipline. He knew that comfort was not always his friend. Sometimes he would go without luxuries on purpose. He ate simple food, wore plain clothes, and slept on a hard bed. This was not because he enjoyed suffering, but because he wanted to prove to himself that he did not need much to be happy. By practicing discomfort, he became immune to the fear of losing comfort. Over time, Marcus changed. His mind became like a fortress. When others complained, he remained quiet. When others were overwhelmed by emotion, he stayed steady. People noticed. They asked him for advice, and he shared the wisdom of Stoicism. He told them that strength did not come from avoiding pain, but from facing it. That courage was not the absence of fear, but the will to act despite it. That true freedom was not in controlling the world, but in mastering oneself. The story of Marcus is not just history. It is a lesson for all of us. Life will always bring storms, failure, betrayal, sickness, loss, but we do not have to be victims of these storms. Stoicism teaches us that the power to remain unbroken lies within us. It is not easy. It takes practice day after day. But if we train our minds like Marcus did, we too can become mentally indestructible. We can face anything without crumbling. We can find peace not because the world is perfect, but because we have learned to be strong in an imperfect world. So how do we begin? We start small. The next time something goes wrong, we pause. We ask ourselves, is this within my control? If it is, we act. If it is not, we accept. We practice gratitude for what we have. We prepare for hardship before it arrives. We embrace discomfort to build resilience. And most importantly, we remember that no one is born unbreakable. Strength is built one thought at a time. The path to mental indestructibility is not short. It is a lifelong journey. But every step makes us stronger. And one day, like Marcus, we will look at the chaos of the world and realize we are no longer afraid. We have become unmovable. We have become stoic.